Today's webinar. Transfer Express is presenting you Embroiderers Sew Up Profits with Heat Printing. I hope it's nicer where you're at than it is here in Northeast Ohio. It is a gray day here. It looks like it's going to storm, actually. So I hope it's nicer wherever you're located. Alas, summer has come to an end, it seems. School's back in session, so we thought we would bring you a webinar focused on the embroidery folks. Now, if you're not an embroiderer, don't worry. We're going to come around to a couple different business types and focus on you over the next couple months here. So we're just going to get the embroiderers out of the way first here. So embroiderers, sew up profits with heat printing. Hopefully today the goal is to teach all of you embroiderers out there exactly what you're capable of doing with the heat press, why you should have one, why it makes a difference to you, and why it's a great accessory for your shop. Indeed, one of the people that we talk to the most here at Transfer Express is embroiderers. It's one of my favorite parts of trade shows, actually, is getting to know different companies and their businesses and how they handle their businesses. And one type of people we never cease to hear from are the embroiderers. Some of the embroidery trade shows are actually the most fun because we can help you guys out so much. There's so many things we can offer you, so many dimensions of this industry you can hit simply by having a heat press. So we're going to discuss a bunch of those different topics in the next 45 minutes. Now, as usual, this is being recorded, and it will go up on our website. So if you are interested in the recording, you will be able to view it at transferexpress.com under the Help and Education section. There is a section for educational videos. There you will find this recording and all the other webinars that we do as well. And if you have any input or that you want to see done at some point in time, feel free to email us at info@transferexpress.com. And last but not least, there is a chat box. I'm sure you all see there. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please do not hesitate to type the questions into the chat box. Let me know what you're thinking. I will do my best to respond and answer and get back to you as we go through the webinar. If I miss your question, then we will email you back a personal answer after the webinar is over. So all of those things being said, we are going to go ahead and get started with embroiderers. Sew up profits with heat printing. All right. So we've surveyed our embroidery customers. The goal here was to find out exactly why our embroidery customers use heat printing. Why do you do it? Why do you bother having a heat press? We figured instead of teaching at you, instead of talking at you for the next 45 minutes, what if we told you what other embroiderers, just like you, what they were thinking, why they bothered with heat printing, why they use the heat press, why they even bother to go to these extremes. Not extremes, but why do they bother to go to this part of the industry? What makes them want a heat press? So we polled some of our embroidery customers, asked them these questions, why, and we are going to give you the top 6 reasons. The top 6 reasons are on the board for heat printing and your embroidery feud today. Richard Dawson, I am not, but let's go ahead and start with number 6, offer on-site printing. On-site printing is a fantastic opportunity, and it's one of those things that if you're an embroiderer, you've probably never even thought about doing it because you're not going to drag your embroidery equipment across town or across state or anywhere for that matter. So on-site printing for an embroiderer, it doesn't tend to be possible, but when you buy a heat press, oh my gosh, the opportunities are amazing. And a quote from one of our embroidery customers: I didn't want to travel with our embroidery machines, but having a booth with heat-applied rhinestones and screen print sells our embroidery services. We want to be their custom apparel source. Here's the idea, guys. There are fairs, there are festivals, there are events, there are all sorts of things that are happening in your community. Events that you could be present at, events that you could have a tent or a stall or a stand with a heat press, some blank shirts, and some rhinestones, and some screen printed transfers. And you put up a sign saying how much the shirts are, display some of the finished shirts, and they sell themselves. Now, sure, you're embroiderers, so your main business isn't going to be the heat press, but that's the catch, is if you get people to come to you for these shirts in their bag, when you hand them their bag with their finished product, include one of your business cards, include a flyer, have some kind of sign up for further information that they can put their email down so you can add them to your email list. The whole point is you want to provide these people with everything that you can. So you take your heat press to the event, you sell them some screen print transferred shirts and some rhinestone shirts, but then you also get their business down the road. When they do need embroidery, they'll come to you. When they need any kind of customized apparel, they'll come to you. On-site printing is something you can make a lot of money off of, also keep in mind. A great example, some of the sporting events. When you go to a sporting event, you take one transfer that is for the wrestling tournament. It's got the tournament's name, and it's got some logo for the tournament. It's a memory. Think of it that way. You're making a memory for these kids. So you have one transfer that's for the tournament, and then you have another transfer that's just generic. You take another transfer that's, pain is temporary, pride is forever, some kind of wrestling-themed logo. And you have these options at your booth for people to choose from. Now, you also take some peel and press letters, our peel and press transfer letters, and you offer for $2. You can put some kid's name on the back of a shirt. And the good news is the letters are super cheap for a whole pack of them. So you make up the money real fast. You can tack on the little bits and pieces like that too. If you're at a cheerleading event, you can have some of these rhinestones available, and the rhinestones, those add a lot of value to a t-shirt. If you're not familiar sometime, Google or hit Amazon.com or eBay and see how much money some of these other people sell rhinestone t-shirts for. You'll be surprised at the sheer amount of cash you can get just for having rhinestones on a t-shirt. But we'll talk about mixed media more in just a second. So offering on-site printing is a fantastic opportunity for embroiderers because it's a part of the industry you guys really aren't involved with or can't in any practical sense be involved with because no one wants to lug their embroidery equipment all over the place. A heat press is a lot more portable. A heat press is a lot easier to get around, and it gives you the opportunity to actually get yourself out there. Like you're literally going to a location and seeing people. How better to get your name out there and advertise yourself than to actually be going out and seeing the customers face to face? So that's number 6, offering on-site printing, a fantastic reason for embroiderers to get a heat press. Number 5, offering full color printing. Offering full color printing makes you more dangerous to your competitors. Embroidery is obviously a fantastic decorating method. We all adore it. Embroidery is one of those things it's very high quality. It's fantastic. It's the definition of swanky decorating. But people come to you looking for other things also. People come to you for embroidery, but they're also going to make other requests when they have full color artwork or even photographs for that matter. This is where embroidery is going to fall a little bit. You're not going to be able to accomplish these photographs, and if you're going to do full color, that's a lot of thread, that's a lot of stitches, that's a lot of colors, and it might even be possible with your equipment. So when it comes down to it, the whole idea of full color printing, you can't really accomplish very well with embroidery. So having a having a heat press allows you to do these kind of full color transfers. In the photographs here, you see a product that we make here at Transfer Express called CAD prints. The CAD print product, essentially, we're taking a roll of film and we're printing your full color artwork onto that film, and then we're CAD cutting that film and you're applying the film to the garment. This allows for all sorts of colors because it's digital printing, not screen printing. You can have as many colors as your heart desires. I think the best example is actually the one right here in the middle of the screen on the black t-shirt, the Peace, Love, and Puppetry. There are a lot of colors in that design, and there is no way you can accomplish that design in screen printing without paying an arm and a leg or killing some of those colors. Again, the photograph on the far right is another great example. If somebody walked into your embroidery shop and needed a winning football team's picture put onto a shirt, an embroiderer, you're not going to have a real great way of doing that. These CAD prints are easy to press on a heat press. They stay on for the life of the garment. They do not flake, they do not peel, they do not crack. It's a fantastic full-color opportunity for you to add to your repertoire. And on top of it, the CAD prints are great because they offer other opportunities as well. Digital transfers can be applied to nylon, they can be applied to spandex and lycra. They can be applied to all sorts of hard-to-press-on items as well. We've had some customers that have even pressed their CAD prints onto leather. So whatever you're looking to press on, the CAD prints can generally apply to anything that fits into a heat press. Okay. On top of that, you can use your artwork or we can use ours. Again, one of the nice things at Transfer Express is we provide you with a whole bunch of customizable artwork. Now, you can use our art or you can send us your own art, and we can go from there. So full color printing is a great option for you to add to your list of products. This is business that you would otherwise have to turn away or you'd have to subcontract out. And who wants to do that? Why not keep the profit in-house? Why not keep the profit in-house? And keep in mind, we're talking about a small investment too. We're going to talk about it again in a slide or two here in just a minute. But we're not talking about a massive investment to get into this part of the industry. We're talking about a relatively cheap investment, a very cost-effective investment just to access all these products. So that's number 5. Number 4, it's so easy to do names and numbers. So right now as an embroiderer, your option for names and numbers comes down to sewn-on materials, which of course isn't out of the question, but that can be very expensive. It can be quite a to-do to have that kind of stuff digitized. When it comes down to it, there is a cheaper, easier way to do names and numbers, and that would definitely be screen-printed transfers. The screen-printed transfers, first of all, they apply in only 4 seconds. So you can put a name and a number on the back of a jersey in 4 seconds. You can't beat that. 2 colors are only one application. Both colors appear on one piece of paper. And perfect pairings. We have our perfect pairings application. What this means to you is, the numbers and the names don't come under. You simply line up the corners of the numbers and the name together, and it takes only seconds. You center it, and you're good to go. Very easy to do. And low cost. Names are $1.75 a piece, and numbers start at 17 cents a piece. All right? And our embroidery customers tell us they sell them for $5 to $8 a pop. So you see that being able to do names and numbers. And what's funny about this is not only does it add to your profitability, but this actually makes you a little bit more dangerous in the industry too, because now not only are you offering the high quality of embroidery, the pinnacle of decoration that it is to people, but you're also offering the sporting industry what they need. You're offering names and numbers. So this opens you up to a whole class of people you might not have been taking care of before if you're just a pure embroidery shop. So this opens you up to a whole section of the industry that from here, after you've done names and numbers, it's not out of the question to start handling teams. After all, after you've purchased that heat press and you've done names and numbers on the backs of jerseys, now why not do the fronts of the jerseys? Why not do the entire team? Why not do the entire little league? And again, what it's going to do is get your embroidery business put out there as well. One of the clever things you could do when you're handling your sports customers, you wrap their jerseys up in individual bags, and in each bag, you put one of your business cards and one of your flyers for your embroidery business. It's instant advertising to the people who ordered the jerseys. And it's a perfect way for you to get yourself out there. So this is not about necessarily pushing aside your embroidery. This is about adding something to your business that's going to bring people in and add more to your embroidery business. All right, number 3, I can do mixed media. This is a fantastic way to produce some really high quality garments. Okay, even just a heat press by itself is a great way to produce some high quality mixed media garments. Now, mixed media means you've used more than one decorating method to decorate this garment. Mixed media, you can sell mixed media garments for a nice chunk of money, I was saying earlier. If you don't believe me or if you're ever curious, hit Amazon.com, hit eBay, and see what a ladies t-shirt that's screen printed and has rhinestones. You see how much they sell for. It's not a small amount of money. As embroiderers, you guys are already doing a high-quality decorating method. You already have this access to this really swanky, nice decorating method of embroidery. When you add a heat press to your business, suddenly you can add rhinestones and screen-printed transfers to the designs you're already embroidering, making it instant mixed media. And a mixed media shirt increases in value. When you add, for example, the Cardinals design here, when you add that cardinal head to that baseball design, you've turned this into a design that you can sell for a lot more. We're talking upwards of $20, $25 easily without a problem. So mixed media is a great way for you to make a high quality garment that is desirable and in right now. People love mixed media. They love it when you mix the rhinestones in with the screen print. And again, the embroidery that you guys have access to as embroidery customers, you guys already have a high quality decorating method available. So when you add rhinestones to that, like the A's logo that we have on the right side of the screen, it's a perfect example. When you add rhinestones to that, now you've just increased the value of that print by a lot. You can ask for a lot more money for a garment that's got rhinestones, that's got screen printing, that's got embroidery, all mixed together onto one shirt. Right? So mixed media is definitely a very big plus to having a heat press, and it's easy to do, frankly, for that matter. When you're doing mixed media on a heat press, the only catch that you have to remember is that the heat press does not want to touch ink that has already been pressed. So, for example, if we're looking at that Cardinals design at the bottom there, what we would have done here is we would have pressed the transfer first, peeled the paper, then put the cardinal head down, and then we had to cover the whole design with another piece of paper because the heat press cannot touch that design after it's been pressed the first time. So we covered the whole thing up with a piece of paper, pressed it, took the cover sheet off, then peeled the rhinestones, and boom, done. Right? So doing multimedia, mixed media, does make it a multi-step process. Obviously, as embroiderers, that's clear. You have to embroider the design, then go back and heat press it. But still, the point remains that two-step process or not, the asking price for those garments goes way up. Now, if you have a retail shop, this is a great way, especially if you have a storefront with a window even, you can do any kind of window advertising. Mixed media is a great thing to have in your window. It's a great thing to display in your shop. You can almost call these hero garments because sometimes you look at some of the neat designs people make with screen printing and embroidery and rhinestones, and you think to yourself, nobody's actually going to buy that. I mean, that's a lot of decorating. That would be expensive to do all three on one shirt. But the point is, when you make up a shirt like that and display it to your customers, all you're going to do is get them thinking, get them imagining. It benefits you to have these really cool, nice, done-up designs to show people what you're capable of, if nothing else. So mixed media is a fantastic thing to have around your shop and to have in your storefront windows, just to give your customers ideas, if nothing else. Number 2 reason for embroiderers to have a heat press is to provide customers with one-stop shopping. That's been kind of the theme so far, right, guys? That's what I'm talking about. When you have a heat press, you can do rhinestones, you can do screen-printed transfers, you can do digital full-color transfers, you can do names, you can do numbers. You've got the embroidery equipment, you can already do that. And I'll one-up you here. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do with the heat press in terms of specialty products, glow-in-the-dark, glitter, pearl. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do with foil, too. If you've never played with heat transfer foil, boy, howdy, that is some neat designs you can do. Those are some definite neat designs you can do with the heat transfer foil. We offer a foil product where you press a transfer down onto the shirt, peel the transfer, and then you stick the foil down. You press the foil, it adheres only to the transfer, and then you peel the foil off and you're good. You got this neat foil design. And what's fun is then you can take that foil and before you press it, you can distress the foil. You can scratch it up. You can carve it up a little bit. You can make it so that your shirt actually shows through the foil just a little bit. It's actually really cool. There's a lot of neat stuff you can do with foil. And not just foil, but all of these specialty products. Imagine taking your embroidery designs and mixing it with glitter or with a shiny pearlescent type finish. Again, all it does is make you a more dangerous individual in your industry, in your community. You can offer all these neat things out of your one shop. And what's best is that you're not subbing it out. A good question, Evelyn. What product is used to add the foil? You'd actually want to use Goof Proof for the foil, our Goof Proof screen printed transfers. The goof proof and the foil go perfectly together. The foil sticks to it like a dream. Here's the catch though, Evelyn. If you're going to do that, if you're going to give the foil a try, make sure that the transfer you're putting the foil on top of, make sure it's the same color as the foil. So for example, if you're going to do the red foil, then make sure your goof proof transfer you're putting the foil on is also red. You don't want to mix colors like that necessarily, unless that's the intention. I mean, obviously you could do some neat things with putting a weird color underneath and distressing it. But if that's not the intention, then make sure you're matching colors like that if you're not trying to do the whole multicolor look. But anyway, so being a one-stop shop, it makes you even more dangerous in your community. And I'm sure we've all seen some people in our industry who are like this. We talk to them all the time at the trade shows, and I admire these people a lot. The people who have the embroidery equipment, maybe 2 or 3 embroidery machines, the people who have a heat press, the people who take it a step further and have a cutter or two. These are the people that have control over their industry. And when you talk to them, you discover that they have high-profile customers, too. They do business for all the schools in the area. They do business with all the local little leagues or all the local whatever, you know what I mean? So, yes, Angela, you certainly can get samples of the foil. If you give us a call, we can certainly get that out to you. But when you talk to these people, these embroidery customers that have already figured this trick out and that already have the other equipment as well, you'll discover that they have this myriad of customers. It doesn't happen overnight, but it starts by being able to offer more than one product. When you can offer all these different products, you give people the reason to continue coming back to you. They don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to risk them going to the screen printer down the street for their shirts and finding something else they like better, and then you never see their business again. You get a lot of return business when you are the one who can do the screen print when they need it, the full color photographic stuff when they need it. And I'm actually going to throw another thing out here that we provide that's not even on the, I didn't even include it on the webinar, I don't think. We also do non-apparel. All of the designs that you do with us here at Transfer Express, we can also produce stickers, banners, window clings, wall graphics with the same artwork. If you're joining us late, Krista, yeah, the webinar is being recorded, and you'll be able to get the recording off of transferexpress.com under the Help and Education section. But we also make these non-apparel products using the same artwork that you use to make your transfers. So that makes you even more dangerous. So when somebody comes to you for embroidery and then they're doing a family reunion, they need shirts done, that's great. You can do the family reunion, screen print, a picture, maybe it's a photograph, you're going to do full color with grandma, that kind of thing. So you can do that, and then when they come to you and say, hey, we want to do stickers for cars, for the family wants to do stickers for the cars, bumper stickers, whatever, you can provide that too. The whole point is you offer all these materials. They're not going to have to go somewhere else. They can come to you for everything. So something to think about, certainly. Yes, we also offer paper stickers. We have a whole slew of those non-apparel products if you guys are interested. And no, Angela, we don't have an art program. We're going to talk about art in a second, though, if you stay tuned. All right, so the number one reason for embroiderers to have heat presses to make more money. To make more money. Here's the way it works. The way we suggest pricing for a screen printed transfer. When you're doing heat printing, you've printed a shirt on your heat press. We advise that you take the cost of the shirt plus the cost of the transfer, multiply it by 2, and there's your base price. And the best part is it only takes 4 seconds. All of the shirts you see on the screen right now took 4 seconds. Even the multicolor one the girl's wearing on the far right there, it took 4 seconds. So in 4 seconds, cost of the shirt, cost of the transfer times 2. And that's just the base price. If you have added rhinestones to that, you can add $2, $3 to $4, depending on the rhinestone design we're talking about, obviously, to the value of that shirt without batting an eyelash. All right, and if you're looking to make a professional, good-looking shirt, you can take it a step further. We all know that there are suppliers out there in our industry, the Sanmars, the Alpha Broders, that have really nice ladies cut shirts or burnout shirts, the stuff that kids want, that people want. You can have those nice shirts. You can do multimedia. You can produce easily a shirt that's worth $20 to $25 or more. So fantastic opportunities just by adding a heat press to your shop. All right. So let's talk about a couple other topics here. I want to mention, of course, all you need is a heat press. That's what we've been talking about this whole time. To get started, you need a heat press. There's a couple things I want to run by you guys. There's a couple things I want to put out there for those of you who do not have a heat press yet. If you're thinking about it, if you're even just kicking the idea around, I want to throw out a couple things. Number one, the quality of the heat press does affect the print quality. Don't cut corners. One of the things that we see a lot here at Transfer Express is the people that bought the press off of Craigslist for $200. I bought the machine off of eBay for $250. And you're going to get what you paid for. If you're going to cut corners and you're going to buy a press that's not high quality, then the transfers are not going to come out properly. You're not going to get a high quality product. And again, if you're expanding your business, this is becoming part of your repertoire, you don't want to buy a piece of equipment that's going to give you a bad name or that's going to risk giving you bad results. All right, so don't cut corners on a heat press. You certainly get what you pay for in this industry. Clam options are more portable. Thank you for the backup there, Keith. The Fusion on the left there, it's a fantastic machine. But we were talking about portability earlier. We were talking about taking your press places. The clam options are the most portable if you're going to do the whole on-site heat printing concept, if you're going to take your press places. Not that the Fusion is not portable, but the Fusion can be a little bit heavy and it can be a little bit of a project to move it. So if you are going to do the on-site printing, the clam is the best place to start. It's very portable, and it takes up less space in your shop. The honest answer here, too, we have all seen the size of embroidery equipment, and I'm sure not all of us can afford the teeny tiny, small little embroidery stations. I'm sure a lot of us have the older, bigger setups and stuff. So, frankly, room in your shop can be an issue. The clam presses are nice because they don't take up a lot of space. Fusion's a beautiful machine, but the Fusion swings away, it draws open. It needs a little bit of space to do what it does best. All right. Heat presses are super easy to learn, and I love telling the story. If you've joined me for webinars before, you've heard me say this before, so please forgive me. My favorite example of how easy a heat press is, many years ago when I started working at Transfer Express, 20 years old, had a younger sister who was about 14, 15. She was in a karate class. And I, of course, opened my big mouth and said, hey, I'll do shirts for your karate class. I had no idea they were going to want 200 hoodies. To this day, I'm not sure what they even did with all 200 of these hoodies. Well, I knew that this was going to be a huge project, and I didn't intend on it being a huge project. So I brought my 14-year-old little sister in and put her in front of a heat press, a box of transfers, and a box of hoodies. And within maybe about 10 to 15 minutes, she was going without a problem. They are easy to use. The heat presses are very intuitive. They are simple machines. They're made well. The Hotronics heat presses specifically are what we're showing you here in the picture, the Stahl's Hotronics. They are well made. They are easy to figure out, and they don't do anything weird after a couple presses. Sometimes when you buy those machines off of eBay or Craigslist or the overseas machines, you learn your lesson. After 10 to 15 to 20 presses, suddenly they start making weird noises. They're banging weird or clanging, or you see something's bent, or the electronics presses last forever. Heat presses, when you own a heat press, all you really need is 3 feet of counter space. When we say space saving for those clams, that's what I'm talking about. If you have 3 feet of counter space, you can heat press without a problem. All right? So heat printing is a fantastic option considering how little space it takes up, how little space you have in your shop to begin with, and how much money you can get out of that heat press. I'll actually raise you another one here too. The money that you spend on the heat press, you can easily make back after 2 or 3 orders. And of course, this depends on the size of the order, and I'm going based off of averages. But you can easily make the money back on the heat press you purchase in 2, 3, 4 orders. We hear this all the time from people. This is not something you might experience with your embroidery equipment. Your embroidery equipment probably costs you a heck of a lot of money. You're going to take a little bit longer to make back that investment. Heat presses don't work that way. You make that investment back very, very quickly. So let's talk about artwork. Artwork is obviously a thing with embroidery. You have to have things digitized. If you are not a digitizer, you have to work with a digitizer. There's software out of the yin yang when it comes to embroidery equipment. There's so much to learn in terms of art and technology. We try to make that as easy as possible for you here at Transfer Express. If you have a customer that is interested in some kind of sports-related jersey, sports-related shirt, baseball team, for example, you might not have artwork for a baseball team. As an embroiderer, maybe that's not something you've ever had to deal with in your area, in your town, in your embroidery shop. Here at Transfer Express, we provide you with a catalog, both online and physical, a catalog of pre-made designs. Pre-designed artwork. You can simply grab a design and change it up. That's the whole point of our Easy Print system. Pick a design, change the text, change the clip art, interchange everything, mess with the colors. You make the artwork up. And you decide what it looks like. We do it all for you. You don't have to have the graphic arts programs. You don't have to have CorelDRAW. You don't have to have all that stuff. It's quick and it's simple. All right, so your customer walks into your shop, it's a baseball team, you bust out your idea book, flip open to the baseball section, and let them have at. And what I'm showing you here on this slide is our Easy View system. Our Easy View system allows you to create a t-shirt, to design your t-shirt right on our website. And here's the best part. The software took us about $2 million to develop. We give it to you for free. There's no catch. There's no weirdness here. You simply log on to transferexpress.com with your dealer ID number and your password. Your dealer ID number is assigned to you when you place your first order with Transfer Express. And you are able to access all those layouts right there on the website, change them up, play with them, and then when you're done, you can either place the order for the transfers right there on the site, or you can actually click that blue preview and share button down there at the bottom right, and you can see what the artwork will look like on a t-shirt. And then you can download that image. You can download that image, email that image. We make it easy for you to show your customer what their shirts will look like. And we make it easy for you to design the shirts. If you don't feel like putting something together yourself, you just start with a layout. The layouts are pre-made whole designs. Or maybe you are feeling creative. You can start from a blank slate and put everything together yourself. And I see Gene asking about the minimums. When you order something out of our idea book off of our website here like this, the minimum is 5 pieces. If you're going to use your artwork, minimum's 10 pieces. I know in embroidery that can be a bit of an issue, so minimums are very cost effective. Actually, as a matter of fact, within the last year we did actually even lower our prices for our minimums to make it even more competitive for you, as a matter of fact. So definitely making you guys more dangerous in that regard. So here's some examples of these layouts that I was talking about. On the left-hand side, you see layout QSL145. This is one of our standard layouts. It's actually one of our more popular ones, to be totally honest with you. Every layout starts off saying Compton Eagles. Compton Eagles. Well, in this case, here are 3 ways for you to take that Compton Eagles design and make it your own. By switching out the eagle head and changing the text, we've got an orange design that says Mangami High School, the Wildcats. But it doesn't have to be a Wildcat head. You could put sports balls there. And you can make it something totally different. It doesn't have to be the school. So below that, you see where we've changed the text, and instead of staying with that whole city theme, we went Stripes for Life, Wildcat Cheerleader. It doesn't have to say the city name. It doesn't have to say high school. You're the one coming up with the design. Now, the very bottom one, we've taken it a step further even. We've done 3 colors, and we even eliminated one of the lines of text. Proud to be a soccer mom. And again, all we did was in our Easy View, the program you'll have access to after you've placed an order with us. In Easy View, we brought up layout QSL 145. We deleted one of the extra lines of text, changed the existing lines, added some blue in the word soccer mom, put some white in the soccer ball, and boom. There are over 5,000 designs available to customize, and the options are endless. There's a million things you can do with these designs. It's always funny to me, too, when a customer is browsing through our layouts and it suddenly hits them. We have people ask us this all the time. Couldn't I take this football design and make it a basketball design? Absolutely. You're the ones customizing the artwork. It might look like a football design now, but what's it going to be after you're done with it? You're the one putting it together. So definitely a lot of options. And here's the best part: you don't have to have a digitizer. You don't have to have somebody who's digitizing your artwork. You don't have to worry about stitch counts. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing. We do charge you based on how many colors you have, so there's that same element. But otherwise, artwork is a lot easier when it comes to screen print and transfers. We will help you with that. And here's the other side of this too. If you have a customer that walks in your shop with a business card and you do have to produce their artwork as it is right off their business card, we can certainly do that, and we'll walk you through the steps. We'll tell you what will look best. We'll tell you what we can do with it. Cleanup, not a problem. We can certainly work with you in that regard as well. And to go about sending us that artwork so you can get a quote or perhaps see how much it will cost you, there's two easy ways to do it. Hit transferexpress.com and you will see at the top left-hand corner, that's my favorite place to send people, top left-hand corner there on the red toolbar, there's a Send Us Your Artwork icon. Click Send Us Your Artwork. It will ask you if you're a current customer or if you're a new customer. If you are new to our website, it is very simple to put in your email address and we will send you a temporary password. You can then use that temporary password to log on, get your artwork sent off to us, and after we get your artwork, within 2 hours, we will call you to discuss it. So you will get a call that day, unless you send your artwork right before closing time. You will get a call from us that day to discuss your art and to get you a quote or get your order placed or whatever it is you want to do. And we will always, always, always call you first. We're not going to do anything with the artwork until we talk to you. Sublimation is much different, yes. Sublimation is a whole different process. What we're doing here at Transfer Express is we're doing screen printing, or we are doing digital printing onto the film, the CAD prints we talked about earlier for full color. So we're not doing sublimation, but we're doing screen print, we're doing digital. So let's talk about application. Embroidery is obviously, and I have the utmost respect for embroidery professionals. You guys never cease to amaze me. You guys get to know your equipment like the back of your hand, and obviously you have to, but you get to know your embroidery equipment like the back of your hand. You know exactly what you're capable of doing. It's a more involved process, and I have the utmost respect for that. But the good news is when you purchase a heat press and you do screen print transfers, this process is super simple. Application of these products is very easy, very easy. Every single order you place with us, you get instructions. The instructions are actually on your packing slip, and they're very easy to follow instructions. For example, here's our transfer instructions for our goof-proof product. Goof-proof, it tells you flat out 360 to 370 degrees, press time 3 to 5 seconds, pressure medium firm 6 to 8. Very easy to set. And you're going to pre-press your design. Always pre-press, not the design, I'm sorry, the garment. You're always going to preheat, pre-press the garment because you want to get that moisture out. So you throw your shirt on there, you pre-press it, put your transfer down, and then boom, press, peel, done. The process is very simple. First couple times you do it, it's always good to have a scrap shirt and a couple extra transfers just to play with. When you're new to the process, it's good to have a little bit of a backup there, but very simple to do. Very simple to do. Application is very easy. You'll find that this is a lot similar to the embroidery that you guys are already doing. When you're positioning transfers, if you're going to do a full front, what we suggest you do is you start with the tag. You start with the tag of the shirt. You draw an imaginary line from the tag all the way down. That would be vertically. Then you're going to do another imaginary line from armpit to armpit, all right, or bottom of the arm seams, essentially. Armpit to armpit, and then tag down, where there's those two imaginary lines where they intersect, that plus where they intersect, that is the center of your t-shirt, and that is where the center of your full front transfer should go. Now, when you are presented with this information like this the first time, I will totally give you that this is a little bit on the complicated side. It sounds complicated. Oh gosh, all these imaginary lines. I guarantee you that within, let's say, 10 transfers, within doing your first 10 shirts, you will have this down and you will be able to eyeball it without a problem. I've watched it happen many times over the years. It is not difficult in the least to get the center of the shirt and then get the center of the transfer. One thing some people like to do actually too is you can put a tiny little crease in your transfer at the top middle. You sort of fold the two sides over and put a tiny little crease at the top. Helps you find the center of the transfer. And you know what? A lot of people do that at first when they haven't done this a lot. But again, after you get maybe 15, 20 transfers in, you're not even going to be doing that anymore either. Very simple to do. Left chest takes just a second longer to figure. It's a difficult position to figure out, but you know what? Once you know the trick, it's not that hard at all. What a lot of people tend to do with left chests is they have a problem judging how far over from the armpit to put the transfer. And we see a lot of people who don't go over far enough, and you get transfers in armpits, and you see other people who you can tell they've been burned once because they accidentally pressed the transfer way too far over. It's almost in the center. So left chests are easy once you figure out the trick. Again, with my imaginary lines, you're gonna look at the shirt as it's laying on your press. You're going to go far to the right side of the collar, draw an imaginary line vertically down from the rightmost part of the collar, and then again the imaginary line from armpit to armpit. Where those two lines intersect is where the heart size design is going to go. Okay? And again, this is one of those things that it's hard to figure out, but once you do it once or twice, and my advice always when I'm doing heart sizes personally, I press one or two and then I stop. I'll find somebody with that size or I'll put it on myself, make sure it looks good, make sure I've lined it all up properly. So you do one or two, make sure they look about the way you're expecting them to look, and then after a little while, it is easy to bust these out. Takes a second, there is a little bit of a learning curve, but not difficult. All right. Now, if the person is particularly tall, it might be a good idea to adjust just a tad. And that's one of those things, if we're talking smalls, mediums, larges, you can use this trick verbatim the way I've explained it to you. Even XLs to some degree. Once you start to get into 2 and 3X shirts, this is where sometimes you do actually want to go a little, you want to move it a little further down per se. So, but again, very simple to do. Now, one of the cool things about heat pressing is it is easy to do unique stuff in terms of places to press your shirt, or to press your design rather. There's a lot of neat stuff you can do, and we encourage people, think outside the box. Don't just do the plain old full fronts. That's not hip. That's not what the kids like. Kids these days, they're looking for something unique. They're looking for something different. This is why we have suppliers who are offering garments like Sanmar and Alpha Brodo who are offering these burnouts and these lady cut t-shirts, baby doll shirts, that kind of thing, because kids like different. Well, you take those same shirts, and like we've done here in the photograph, instead of pressing this design on the full front of her shirt, which we could have done, this is a fair-looking full front design, instead we press it on the hip of the shirt. This gives a really slick look. It is different. It's not something that you see in the stores. It's not something you see people doing. Kids like this. And staying up on the trends, this is what keeps us as decorators relevant. We have to stay on the trends. So, again, think outside of the full front. Instead of full front, you got a design that's rectangular, maybe taller than it is wide. The shoulder is a great place to start. And again, you're just going to find the center of your shoulder and position it from there. Or the bottom front, around the hip area, the pelvic area, that's another great place to stick a transfer down there. Or you've got, instead of doing your left chests where you're lining up on the front left chest of a shirt, what about taking that 4x4 design and instead putting it on the back of the neck? You start at the hemline. You start at the hemline of the neck and work your way down an inch or two on the back of the shirt, and that's a perfect place to stick a transfer. Or, again, what we've shown you in the photograph here, you can do a hip, sort of a wraparound deal. And, again, all of this is very easy with the heat press. It all comes down to how you're placing the shirt on the heat press. Very, very easy to do. Whew, okay, everybody. We covered a lot of information in a very short amount of time. That was 45 minutes on the nose. If you want to see the recording of this webinar, it will be up on transferexpress.com later today, tomorrow. If you go to transferexpress.com, you'll see the Help and Education section on the red toolbar. Once you've clicked on that, you'll see there is a link for educational videos. Click there, and you will find yourself at the recordings of all the webinars. So please feel free to check out that recording. And if you want a copy of the webinar slides, we can certainly assist you with that as well. Shoot us an email, info@transferexpress.com. You're welcome, Evelyn. I hope that those placement tips, I hope they help. Again, one of the things I love to tell people, if you've ever attended one of my live classes that we do at the NBM shows, at the different trade shows, one of the things I love to remind everybody who comes to the classes, we are the decorators. We are the ones defining this industry. We have to keep it creative. We are the ones that have to come up with these ideas. Sometimes our customers walk into our shops with the ideas ready to go, but we're the ones that have to drive it. We're the ones that have to promote these unique concepts and these different ways of thinking. That's the way we're going to win business. So I certainly hope that helps, Evelyn. But if you have any more questions, feel free to shoot us an email. Feel free to give us a call. Our customer service reps are up on everything that we discussed during the webinar today, and if you have questions and you want to talk to a human being, give us a call. One of our reps is more than happy to talk to you about all this good stuff. As a matter of fact, we love talking to people, hearing about the embroidery side of the business. We don't get to talk to a lot of embroiderers about the embroidery business necessarily, so it's a lot of fun for us. We enjoy it. There'll be any classes. We at Transfer Express are not offering any classes at the Dallas-Fort Worth show. But we will be offering classes at the Las Vegas SGIA show, which is the end of October, and then we will be offering classes at the Charlotte NBM show. So definitely check us out. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming today. You're going to be at the Vegas show, Leslie? Well, come say hi. I'm going to be there, too. I'm going to be doing classes. I will see you there. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. For those of you who are in the ad specialty world, we're going to be focusing on you next. So we're going to do heat printing ad specialty items next month, October 9th, 2 o'clock. Same time, same place. Make sure to come join me. I look forward to seeing you all there. And again, thank you, everybody, so much for attending today. I will talk to you soon.